Alright, welcome back. So now we're going to talk about a new feature in Handlebars, and that is the ability to loop over things. There's often cases where you have an array of something on the back end and you want to display it on the front end, but you don't know how many instances of it you're going to have. So you want to be able to dynamically generate content on the front end based on this array. So let's do that. In this example, let's pretend that I want to list out some skills that I've developed. So we're going to use JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So we're going to switch over to this first template, and I'm going to pass in the skills, and we're going to call that skills. So this is the variable that's going to be on the template variable, and this is my variable corresponding to this. ES6 has a really cool feature. Instead of doing this repeated key value with the same text, I can actually just call it skills, and JavaScript is going to understand that that means that the name of the key is the same as the value that's corresponding to it. If that doesn't make sense, be sure to ask one of the TAs, but I just wanted to take advantage of this shortcut to show y'all how it works. Okay, cool. So from here, let's go onto our front end and see how we're going to be able to loop over it. So one way I could do this, right, is I could just put skills, and this is in our template variable syntax that we saw before, and let's see what that looks like. So it's just going to render them all out there with commas in between. This isn't going to impress any recruiters, so we're going to need to jazz this up a little bit. So let's put it in an unordered list, right? That's a good start. So we'll do that, and then we're going to actually use a handlebars directive, and so that's going to be the each, and we're going to put skills here. So I'm going to get rid of this now. And of course, inside of here, we want these to be inside LIs, and I'm going to just go ahead and close the each. And so how do we access the current value of the skill in this loop inside of Handlebars? Well, they actually use the keyword this to show that. So let's take a look and see what it looks like. So already this is looking better. Now we have an unordered list. So let's dissect again what we've done. We're using Handlebars' special directive, hashtag each, which is essentially a for loop. And we're passing it the skills array, which is coming from our backend right here. So we have it here in our backend, and we're just passing it through as a template variable called skills. And the way that we're accessing this current value of skills in the loop is just using double curlies and the keyword this. So this is pretty simple because we're just using an array of strings. But what if our array was a little bit more complicated instead? Let's say instead that our array is actually of objects and it has a key language, which in this case is going to be JavaScript, and a level, and here it's going to be expert. And so let's copy this a couple times. I'm going to get rid of those, and we'll make this HTML and this CSS. And maybe I'm not super great at HTML, so I'm going to say rookie in HTML, and CSS sucks. So let's just use this for an example, right? Alright, now how are we going to handle this on the front end? So let's just see what happens automatically. It's just going to print them out as objects because that's what they are. This is no use to us. The recruiters aren't going to like this. So instead, we can kind of index into this keyword just like we would in JavaScript. So I can say this dot language because that corresponds to the key that I set in the object, and we'll be able to get the language out. So I can put language here just like in text, and now we'll see we have our languages, and so we can do the same things with our skill level, and let's change this to level, and we see that the skill level is coming out too. I'm just going to put in a quick break so that it reads a little bit easier over here. Okay, cool. So there's actually something else worth noting though. So you see how we're doing this dot language and this dot level? Handlebars is really smart, and it can actually go and figure that out for you. So we can drop the this, and so I can just do like curly brackets language, and that'll also work. So we see the same thing is working, same page reloaded. So you can access into it either way. You can use language, in which this case is like the key on the this, so that this is kind of implicit, or you can spell it out if you want to be more clear. And of course, if it's just something like a list of strings or a list of numbers, you can just use this. So that's everything as far as for loops in Handlebars. And this is a very useful skill. Like I said, maybe you have a whole list of students and you want to display information about all of them. This would be the way that you do that. All right, cool. Let's keep moving.